So the goal here is going to be to, hopefully have a YouTube channel that shows me, living as a guy who also has Huntington's disease, but we don't want it to be a big pity party or sad all the time. What we want is for it to hopefully be fun and uplifting, and, like I said, a place where people can, share funny stories and things like that. And we can all, just, kind of go down the road together. Oh, hi. I didn't see you come in. Let's see, today's date is February 26th, 2019. Let me just give you a quick rundown on where things have been since New Year's. So I made the rather painful decision that I'm going to retire on June 1st. So we'll have, probably more episodes talking about, all the, hassles of packing up all my files and telling everybody and, sort of, finding new but not quite as good lawyers for everybody else and things like that. I also thought that today would be a good time to show you sort of what my Chorea looks like, because I'm having kind of a shaky day, so we'll do that in a minute. And then, let's see, I had my first visit to the Huntington's disease clinic at VCU, which was exciting. Met with Dr. Testa and her whole team, and they showed me some exciting things. I'll also show you later about like ways to help me keep my balance and using a big heavy stick and things like that. But the upshot of it was that other than having to retire and possibly stop driving this summer, everything seems to be basically okay. I'm not like a lot worse. So let's see where to start. How about I show you my silly walk?
Okay.
Now, for those of you who don't know about Huntington's disease, there are sort of two external features. One is this involuntary moving that I'm doing right now, which is actually called Chorea. And like I said, a lot of you may already know that, but just in case you don't know. So this is just me moving because my body says, hey, I'm going to do this now. So I'm not making any of this happen. But another thing people sometimes want to know is it painful? And the answer is no. It's not painful, and I don't even realize it's happening most of the time. So it mostly just annoys the crap out of other people, and that's okay. So then there's also Huntington starts to affect your balance over time, also completely unrelated to the shaking. And so I have what I call my silly walk, where I walk like this. It's not super silly, but it's silly enough that, and I'm a huge Monty Python fan, so it was very important to me that if I had an unusual walk, that it'd be silly. So I got the neurologist to actually write it in my chart that I have a silly walk. Like I said, as things progress, I hope it'll be sillier and we can show you sillier things. And then there are the things that we worked on with balance and things like that. And so right now I could actually walk fine without any kind of cane. Eventually I'll definitely need a cane, and I'll probably end up in a wheelchair at some point because it's a progressive disease. But one of the things that they have me practicing is pretending that basically, I think of it as pretending I'm taking a field sobriety test for DUI, and so I do those things because I can't. So, observe. That's stone sober, everybody. 0.0 here. So this is why, I'll be using a walking stick. And so we've been playing around with different types of sticks and different weights and things to see what works best.
Now, does it feel like somebody's pulling you to each side when you're falling?
No, it's just that it's like I lose my balance.
Right.
But right now, I can still catch myself pretty easily, most of the time. But sometimes I fall down, and that's what worries people, with Huntington's people, because you don't want to hit your head or something. most people when they walk they use these aluminum walking sticks. Like I use them when I backpack. They kind of look like ski poles. And anyway, and so but, they're really lightweight. And but people with Chorea sometimes having something heavier actually works better because it knocks down the vibrations from your body. So what I've been playing around with is I have this tall wooden walking stick, which I like because I feel like I'm out there running around in my neighborhood like Theodore Roosevelt, speaking softly but carrying a big stick.
When did you decide that you were going to start using a cane?
Well, right now I just sort of use it to experiment. I don't have to have it yet, but when I went to the clinic for my first visit, one of the people they had on staff was a physical therapist, and so she had lots of good ideas, because people with Huntington's have balance problems like you saw, and eventually, I won't be able to walk anymore, and so they have, but they have lots of, kind of cool strategies to, help you walk as long as you can. And a lot of it is just boring exercises like squats and that kind of stuff. So I started, doing those more because, I like walking. Yeah, anyway, it was funny for me because, what I thought was I knew I was going to need help. And so, with this, and so what I thought it envisioned in my mind was that, I'm this, buff 45-year-old guy, and what I need is a personal trainer who can kick my butt and have me doing, triple sets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, physical therapy should do it. And this is totally my own bias. It's totally, I think, probably not true. But when I think of physical therapy, I think of like old people who've got hip replacements and they're walking very slowly on a treadmill, or they're like working out with those rubber band things and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Or they're veterans who got their legs blown off and they're learning how to walk again, which is a totally badass thing that's totally separate. But I didn't really think of. But anyway, so. But yes, I think what I'm going to do is just.
You've probably spent years in physical therapy at this point.
I have, yeah. I was more on the old person side, though. Not nearly the badass side.
Well, there's the other part, which is like athletes who get hurt and you're like rehabbing that kind of stuff.
Right.
But but like when I go to the Botetourt Athletic Club, I used to go really early in the morning and before work to work out, and they also do PT there. And there would be this like, all these like, people in their 90s working out with the little, that stuff. And so that's just kind of what I think of when I think of physical therapy.
Right.
But if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that this is going to actually pan out. But so yeah, last night Emily and I were talking about, like cost of Medicaid and all this kind of stuff, and because there's also an excellent chance that I'm going to be in a nursing home for a long time, and that's going to be expensive. And anyway, so all this sort of depressing stuff, and then we were talking about if only we knew somebody who lived in Scandinavia. Turns out one of Emily's best friends growing up is from Copenhagen, which is in Denmark. So we were talking about Denmark. So then I was looking it up, and so anyway, so now I'm trying to convince Emily we should move to Denmark. They have the best healthcare system in the world, hands down. And it's not just for Danish citizens. If you're a citizen of any EU country, so like not Britain anymore, because thanks Brexit, but any EU country, then you can also go in and But anyway, so we were joking about that. That would be fun. But anyway, but they have they have lots of exciting sort of biotechnology and genetic type research going on in Scandinavia and in Denmark. So I asked Emily to talk to her old boss at NIH, who when she did her genetics fellowship, and see if he had any contacts. But anyway, I just I got really excited. I was like, hey, we could totally do this. We just go there. Hamlet takes place in Denmark. Very first line, something stinks in the state of Denmark. Also on the downside, I was a little I was interested a little bit because, you know, some of the most famous Vikings in all history were Danes. But, you know, they have kind of moved away from that culturally. They're much more warm and fuzzy. So they don't really embrace the Viking, you know. Like Viking tourism is not a big part of their thing. They do that in Norway, and I think in Finland. But in Denmark, they would be like, you know.
Would you still wear your horn hat over there?
Probably not.
No.
But you know, but Emily went to visit her friend a couple of years ago, and I just asked her to, you know, bring me back up some kind of Viking T-shirt, and she almost couldn't find one. She had to like go across the little channel to Sweden to find one. And I guess it, you know, it makes sense. It would be like if one of your friends from Europe came to Virginia and they were like, hey, I want to get, you know, a slavery T-shirt. Like, no, you don't. We don't. No. It's not. You know, we don't like to talk about that.
How have things been in Richmond?
Pretty good.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, my appointments are, you know, I'm plugging along. It's hard to tell when I go for the signal study trials, you know, whether just because of the nature, you know, what they're trying to do is just, you know, slow down the progression. So it's a little hard to tell whether it, you know, is doing any good because, you know, I mean, I don't feel, you know, a lot worse. But, you know, I guess I sort of wish I could take a good pill and, you know, for like 12 hours I would be like Superman, like standing on the roof of the hospital. You know, would you come down, please? No, I'm not coming down. I'm staying here until I'm done. So my pills wear off and then I will come down. Now, I don't know, I haven't talked to the people there about the YouTube channel, you know, but I get them to, you know, like take pictures of me when I'm, you know, getting my IVs so that I can, like, you know, text them to people, you know, that kind of stuff. But I don't know whether, you know, they would have a problem with us filming. But on the other hand, you know, they have it all set up so that I never see any other patients. They're in other rooms, and I don't even know if they're there at the same time. Hey, if you liked what you saw, like me, subscribe to my page, or leave me comments.